make PNGs transparent when you're bringing them into Blender. So when it comes to bringing PNGs into Blender, there are a couple different ways of doing it, and each way has a different method of how you operate it when it comes to making it transparent and how you want it to function in whichever scene you want. So first things first, what we're going to do is we're going to do the easy way, which is bringing in using Blender itself and its natural setup for bringing in a PNG. So first things first, you're going to hit Shift A and you're going to click on See Image on the tab and click on Mesh Plane. You're going to have a pop-up window pop up, and what you're going to do is find a PNG image. You're going to click on that, and you're going to click Import Images as Planes. Now, as you can see, you don't see the image right now. That's perfectly fine. That's supposed to happen. Scale it up a little bit. At the top ribbon, you're going to click on Viewport Shading, and that will be your image. It has popped up. It's perfectly set where it needs to be. And then from here, because you're going to want to do some editing on it, I'm going to click on Shading, and there we go. Fix that for you. And yeah, make sure you're always in the viewport shading tool tab, so that way you can see this and how it's reflecting against other surfaces, if that's what you're doing. But I'm trying to make this a flat image. So as you can see, this image is fine mostly the way it is, but it has a sheen to it and it has a reflection to it. So you turn the roughness up and that reflection goes away. Right? Perfectly fine. Now, if you turn the metallic up, there was a white line, if you all can see, but if you missed it, I'm bringing it back down. There's this white line, this border, and that's anti-aliasing that comes from Blender interpreting a black image as a PNG in its system, making it transparent. It makes a border. It is what it is and how Blender treats it. Now, if you turn the metallic up, you get rid of that, but that trick really only helps when it comes to black images. As you can see, you pull out, you don't even notice it anymore. And then when you pull it down, it's faintly there, but you got to zoom in. It's up to the user and how meticulous you are with the program, but I want you guys to know that it's there. So, also, another thing about this is that because this image is black, you kind of don't notice it. But if this image was blue, I'm going to shift this to like a GitHub image. This image, if you go to viewport shading, which is how you export your files, and how Blender it's the final render area for Blender, you can see that the color changed. And that's because this is dependent on the light source. So if you have a sun or a point light, it has to be shining on that PNG, and that will change it. So I'm moving this around, and as you can see, as I move the sun, that influences my PNG. It makes it brighter, it makes it darker, and that's because it's on the principal BSEF shader. Now, if you don't want it to be reliant on the sun and the sun affecting how this image is transparent and the contrast of it, there's a different way. So we'll go back to the layout. We're going to delete this, and then we're going to do Shift A. We're going to do a mesh, and we're going to click on plane. We're going to rotate that on the x-axis. It's most rotating it is more for my benefit because it's easier for me to move around and use my hotkeys. And then we're going to click new, and we're going to go to surface where it says principal BDSF. We're going to click that, and we are going to click emission, and on color right underneath it, we're going to click that dot, and we're going to click image texture. Click on open. You're going to find yourself an image. Same one will be fine. For me, I'm going to choose another one, and we'll do the same GitHub one. And as you can see on the mission side, it's not set up the same way. You're going to have to do a bit more work. So we're going to go into the shading tab, and I'll make sure you stay on viewport shading. So that way you can see around this and gives you some light. And down here in the shader editor, you're going to add a couple things. We're going to click Shift A, and we are going to do a search for a mixed shader. and click that in here between the emission tab and the material output tab. Take that emission out of the top and put it into the bottom. And you're going to search for a transparent BSDF, and you're going to plug that into the top shader. You're going to take the color from your image texture and plug that into the transparent BSDF, and take the alpha from that and plug that into the factor. And take the same alpha and plug this into strength. Oh, maybe not that one. Oh, pull the color from the transparent BSDF. There you go. And there you go. It is set the way you want it to. Now, if you want to, you can turn the strength down and it will make this black. It's up to you because it is an emission shader. This PNG is now creating its own light source, so therefore it is making a perfect one-to-one to the image that you have when you see it on, the backgrounds of your pictures. If you bring it up in your photo viewer on your normal whatever software you have on Windows, is what is it? I don't know. You know whichever software you pull it up in, it looks the same. But if you bring the strength back to 1, it'll make that same comparison. Now, this, as you can see, if you go to the viewport shader, is not dependent on the light source. I can move the sun around and nothing is changing this color. It is constantly the same, and which is perfect for what you need it to do, if this is what you need. Now, every once in a while, there's going to be a problem when it comes to using this method. And that is because you will have anti-aliasing white dithering lines around the sides of your mesh. And I will show you that in a minute. Okay, so this is an image I brought in. It's something I made from Clip Studio Paint. And as you can see at the top, there is an issue with the PNG image that I created. There's this line right here, this dithering line. And this is because sometimes when you're making your PNG, you need to give it space. And I say this, really, you should do this every time. Around your PNG image, you need to have at least maybe 10 to 20 pixels of space around the completed image. If not, you're going to have issues like this, and this will give you a dithering line. Now, this happens when you use the emission shader version of making your image translucent. So what you want to do is you want to go into the UV editing side. So if you go to UV editing at the top, you're going to start and grab the edges of your border of your plane, and you're going to scale this down a little bit. And you're going to have to adjust this per side because it'll probably be easier for you if you made yourself a square, unlike I did. I made myself a rectangle. Let's see. And then you want to bring everything in closer. The whole point of this is that when you go over into the render view, that anti-aliasing is gone. See? That line is gone. And I'm not exactly sure yet why it's causing that issue, but that is the solution I found to it. And I had to find it on my own because I didn't see too many people talking about it, and I wanted to bring it to you all's attention. So if you ever have that issue happen to you, just move your UVs around just a little bit. So that way, when it comes to the final image, you don't have that dithering, because it will pop up in your cameras, your exported camera view and your exported animation. So you don't want that to happen, and doesn't make you look professional, and it makes you look like you missed something and you didn't know how to fix it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys learned something new. If there's something that you want some help on, let me know and I'll do some research on it and figure out what I can find and come back to you guys and give you all that help you need. So I'll catch you in the next video. And yeah, you all have a good one.